Hey, John, on that OT goal, it looked like there was a half-second or tenth of a second hesitation on Werenski's part. Is it your understanding? Did he think that was offside, and did he stop playing in that situation?
I haven't talked to him.
No.
John, before the playoffs began, what was your level of, if you had a level of concern about Bobrovsky with his playoff history, and how do you feel? Well, obviously he's answered, but do you have any issue, any concerns at all if you did, with Bobrovsky's play? I mean, he had some tough playoff history before this season. And is that not even a thought anymore out of how he's played in his 5 games?
We're looking ahead. Bob was terrific last night. Has been. There were struggles early in the year, some inconsistency in his game, but he has taken off. Not just in the first round or last night, but for a majority of the second half of the year, he's played at a level. I've been fortunate enough to be with him for a few years. He's played at a level I haven't seen, and continues in the playoffs.
If I could ask Bob, why do you think? I mean, he's a good goalie. We know that. Beyond that, is there something with him that you think has allowed him to take off? Is it a mental thing? Is it putting everything else that's gone on around him?
You need to ask him that. I really think, if you want, I don't want to speak for him, but from a coach's point of view, I think he's pissed off. I do. I think he's pissed off at some of the thoughts about his play in playoffs, and people have a right to talk about it. Yeah. So, but I can't speak for him. All I know is that he is. I'm not going to say he's the best prepared I've seen him, because there has never been 1 second that I haven't seen him prepare since I've known him, since I've been around him. So I think all players mature. I mean, no matter where they're at in their career, they keep maturing as they get more and more experience at things. Maybe that's what's happening, but it's a question you should ask Bob.
In the first round, you win 4 games. We see the guys and the whole team really compartmentalize, each game, going game to game, just like you want them to. Last night's a loss. You walk in the locker room, and it just seemed like nobody was really too upset last night. I mean, they were upset. They didn't like the feeling of losing, but there was no hung heads or anything like that. I mean, is that the key just going forward, is just putting that where it is and immediately focusing on what's going on?
Today's a new day. We practiced today just to move the blood, and we'll get ready for game 2. Yeah, we're not. We've discussed this right from the start, before playoffs started. We take each day at a time, whether it be good, bad, the night before, practice before. We get ready for the next day. So that's how we go about it.
The general line and the way that they played last night, is that a line that can kind of show you the way against playing against a team like this, just with the way they were able to forecheck and generate?
Jenner's line?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had some good minutes. They played well, and they played to who they are. Probably our most consistent line. I think we, after a real struggle in the first period, I thought our structure came back. But I still don't think we had a lot of guys play really well through the game. One line that did was Jenner's line.
John, we saw it last night. It's going to be a physical series against the Bruins. What might be the impact of David Savard on your team when you need a physical defenseman like him?
Well, everybody talks about how physical it is. It's hockey. I mean, I didn't think it was overly physical. I thought it was just a good, solid hockey game, the way it should be played. Savvy's a guy that we expect a lot from him, especially in our end zone, from topper circles down. He's one of those guys that gets in the way and uses his big body and has played very well. Yeah, so that if he doesn't do that, then I'm not sure where it goes. I do, as I said prior to the series, I think it's helped his offensive game, because I think he feels very confident in his game. So we're going to need more of it.
John, back to Jenner for a second. I think we've talked about this before, but he's always in the middle of stuff physically. But he has the ability to just turn the switch off and skate away, and never gets dragged into stuff more than is within the rule book, sort of, after the whistles. You know what I'm saying? Have you noticed this about him and how just how controlled of his emotions he is almost at all times?
Well, I just think that's his game. I don't think he's he plays the game in an honest way, and I don't think he knows any other way. As far as playing between the whistles, playing as hard as you can, and he's going to play right until the whistle is blown. He'll finish his check right to the bitter end, and yeah, that's just the way he goes about his business.
The guys didn't have a ton of shots on the power play last night. After watching on video, what did you think of the power play?
I'm not going to analyze things with you guys and that stuff.
The general line you were just talking about, it seemed like they were one group that was able to get to the center of the ice a little bit and create some chances there. It seemed like a lot of offense you're getting was sort of on the wings. How important is it to try to get to the middle of the ice, and is that something, did you see that being an issue last night at all?
Well, I thought Jenner's line, they had a number of shifts under the hash, whether it be in the middle or not. I thought they created forechecking. There's no secret as far as forechecking is trying to sustain it under the hash. And especially in the series, you're trying to wear down teams as you play the game. And yeah, again, I thought they were our most consistent line.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's bruised, but kind of hard to grip the stick, but it'll be fine tomorrow, I guess. Yeah.
Figure out a way. Right?
Yeah.
Did you come in afterwards and watch the? Did you think? I thought it was offside when it happened. Did you come in and watch the replay?
Well.
Hard sink? Because it looked weird the way he kind of caught himself.
Yeah. No, I mean, in the heat of the moment, I was almost certain it was offside. But like I said earlier, I can't focus on that, right? If they don't blow a whistle, they don't blow the whistle. I gotta just keep playing. And I knew when I got back to the bench and coaches were leaving, I was like, it's an onside play. You know, if they're leaving the bench, then it's onside. So obviously, like I said, it sucks to be the one that makes the mistake that ends up in the back of your net. But the only thing I can do from here on out is move forward.
Did Torch talk to you about something like that or
no? Not the offside. More so just playing Heinen harder. It's a high flipper, so I'm kind of caught in between on how it's going to bounce. I think if I don't think it's offsides, I stay more aggressive. Me thinking it's offsides kind of pulls me back a little bit because I know he can't touch it. You know, kind of a weird play. I guess I just have to make a better read there.
I don't know if you guys have had a chance to go back and watch the power plays from last night, but you get a sense of just what they were doing to make it hard on you guys and what you need to do better in Game 2?
Yeah, well, I think they're really aggressive up ice. That was kind of tough for us. You know, they're a fast team. They're a team that kind of plays on instincts. It's kind of hard to pre-scout them because you don't really know what they're going to do. Yeah. Guys like Marchand and Corrali, they're going to chase you around the net. They're going to buzz up ice. Sometimes they'll come, sometimes they won't. But we just have to be sharp. I think if we move the puck well, hard and crisp, you know, it beats any pressure. So I think moving forward, we just have to move the puck faster than they can skate. So it's kind of what we have to do moving forward.
Was that an issue last night, moving the puck once you got set up in the zone, or no?
I think when we were set up, we did fine. Yeah. I think we had some shots. I shot a few from the top, a few chances there. Ice wasn't great. Puck was kind of bouncy, so we had to stay a little bit more crisp. But, I mean, it's just as bad for them. So it's not an excuse or anything like that. But I think moving forward, we just have to find a way to move it a little faster and get some shots.
The first game, just to get into this series, which is much different than the Tampa series. This is a big boy series. How did you enjoy that, the challenge and the physical play and all the things that you know are going to come for another who knows how many games?
Yeah, it was a fun game yesterday. Obviously more fun if you win, but I thought we had some good minutes in there. It was a good atmosphere, so it was a fun game to be in. It was intense, physical, you know, everything you expect from a playoff game.
To me, this series kind of plays right to your strengths. And your strengths, of course, you're big, you know how to use the body, but you also have this uncanny knack in getting under people's skin. And I think we saw that a little bit in Game 1 where Patrice Bergeron, I don't know if I could say he was a target of yours, but it seemed like you got his attention a couple of times. How much of that is intentional? How much is the heat of the moment? What is that part of your plan, I guess?
No, I mean, I just go out there and I try to play my game. You know, it's a physical series. You know, we saw this series against Toronto, how it went out, and you know, it's part of my game, getting on the forecheck. get into the body and stuff like that. And I think whenever you do that, you kind of attract attention to yourself, and it's not voluntary. It's just that it's how it goes sometimes. But I just gotta stick to my game, not get out of my way to for a hit or stuff like that. You always gotta do what's best for the team, and sometimes you can't always retaliate, stuff like that. You have to just stay calm and think of the moment.
How big of a learning experience was that for you guys just in the first game that, you're down until the third, you come back, you take the lead, they're able to tie the game up late, just everything that you went through. It's your first loss to the playoffs this year, and there were a lot of good things to take out of the game, weren't there?
Yeah. We did, like I said, I thought we had some good minutes. We had some not so good minutes. We made some mistakes, but I think, the most important thing is that we learned from them. We were down 1-0, come back to 1. And they come back 2-2. I mean, there's a lot of ups and downs, but the most important thing is that we learn from everything, and next game we don't make the same mistakes. And we're always going to make mistakes. We're never going to play a perfect game, but it's important just to not make the same ones every game.
When you look at the 2 goals that you had in the first game, first of all, the double tip by Riley and Brandon to get the first goal. Then the other one, you give it to Panarin, and he kind of shoots it off your leg and it goes in. Is that the kind of goals that you're going to have to score maybe more than not in this series, just with a lot of traffic on Tuukka Rask?
Yeah. We don't really plan, how you're going to score the goal. I can tell you for a fact, me and Brett did not plan to score a goal like that. It just happened, but...
Where'd that catch you, right in the back of the leg?
Yeah, like my calf.
Where there's no protection? Because that was a hard shot.
No, there's a little protection. He's got a weak shot, so it didn't hurt. But yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a series like that where a lot of goals around the net, close to the net, and I think we have a team that can score goals like that, and that can score goals, the skilled way, on rushes and stuff like that. So. It's just going to be to read and figure out what we can do to score goals.
And there's still a lot of confidence in this room, and it's almost like a business-like atmosphere. Is that the way you guys are treating it?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think anybody in here expected to win 16 games in a row to win the Stanley Cup. Obviously that's a dream, but I don't know if it's ever happened before. So, it's a loss, and like I said, the most important thing is that we learn from it. And I don't think it's a loss that deflates us because I think we had some really good minutes in that game. I thought it was a close game that could have gone either side, and fortunately it didn't go ours. But it's a game one. There's still a lot of games left in this series. There's still a lot of minutes left, so it's just for us to get ready for tomorrow.
With all of that being said, and the last thing for you here is it imperative that you win Game 2?
Yeah, of course. It's imperative that we win every game, but I think the most important thing is a good start. Good first 5 minutes, good first period, and then after that we build from that.